Hello everyone. So after a brief hiatus, I am back and I blame fully my laziness for it. Now, it is also said that genius and laziness go hand in hand together. I am lazy, that's for sure. I'm not sure though of the former quality. But anyways, I use this time to look up upon SharePoint framework, which is basically Microsoft's take on JavaScript OpenStack world. This is the platform. This is the way to code on Office 365. So there's a lot of things to cover. SharePoint framework itself, TypeScript, which is sort of a cover over JavaScript, to put it mildly, and also adaptive cards, which is Microsoft's way of writing UIs within Office 365 space. Think of JSON describing your UI snippets. Pretty cool, pretty powerful technology, and we will be discussing this in further detail in context of adaptive cards for Viva Connect Dashboard ad. So let's get started. Viva Connect is actually one of the parts of Viva Module from Microsoft. It's an employee dashboard kind of an application, as you can see. So within the teams, I will have one more tab on the left side, Viva Connect. You can name it anything. You can even change the icon through the team administrator portal. Pretty easy. Once that is done, you can create your own dashboards. As an IT professional, I can write these cards myself and have them surface to end users within Teams itself. So the benefit is we can integrate external systems. Maybe it's your training modules, or vacation tracking system, or car parking system, anything basically which you have, for which a end user has to go out of Teams, has to open a new browser. That's a bit tedious. You can surface that content within Team itself. It's a nice end user experience in that case. User can, for example, come over here in internal vacancies. I can redirect him. If he clicks on checkout, redirect him to some other page, or if you click on it, I can open a quick view. And this, whatever data I want, whatever text I want, whatever UI I want, is done out of box. And this functionality is coming from something called an adaptive card. The idea is we write our JSON, we write our data, we merge both of them together, and then leave it up to Microsoft/adaptive card platform to do its own magic to render it like this, fully responsive on all the mobile interfaces. And also, whenever it gets rendered, it does not get rendered only as HTML, it gets rendered to the native device, which is a huge benefit for us as a developer. We don't have to write it specifically targeting it for example, Mac systems or iPhones or Android and so on and so forth. So that is already taken care of for us. A bit of limitation what we can do on the primarily real estate, like over here, is limited. So I can only have, in some cases, headings, some description, in some text also over here, and only 2 buttons. So it's not that the initial view I can change it to anything I want. That's not possible, and that makes sense because Microsoft has to make this thing fully responsive, right? So behind the scenes, there's nothing. It's just a SharePoint site. This complete page is actually this page. It's a home site. It's the root site which I have configured. Microsoft's recommendation is to use root site, but technically you can use any site you want. So there's no hard and fast requirement that it has to be a home site, but that is what Microsoft is recommending. You can go over here, set up your connections. It's nothing but a dashboard like this. We can, if I edit it, you can see how it will get rendered in a mobile, all stacked up and everything is fine. We can click on it, and this is how it will show up on a phone. The whole real estate shows up within quick view. Of course, there's not much of a UI real estate restriction. I can have whatever text I want, as much text I want, as many buttons I want. So it's pretty easy in that sense. Now, how does this thing work? So let's go ahead and I will add one more card. Let's say I would like to add a new card. I can go there, add a card designer. Notice over here that not all the web parts already available in SharePoint are available over here. And the reason for that is that for Viva Connect, we have to use a specific template. And if that template satisfies, only then our web part will show up over here. We will see in subsequent videos how to go about writing our own custom cards, of course. But for the time being, let's use an out-of-box card designer experience, see what happens. Only 3 types supported. We can have description, or we can have image. So if I specify an image over here, it will appear on the right side. Or I can choose the heading, card size, medium and large. So that's the difference. This is small, this is large. I will leave rest of it together the same. What about the buttons? Now what do I want to do for the action? So what I can do is to show a quick view. I'll come to what is a quick view. Quick view is nothing but the ability to click on the card and show a pop-up. So this is a quick view, right? And this magic is happening because I have specified in my web part configuration that whenever somebody clicks on the card, I would like to open a quick view. And if I specify that, I need to specify some template JSON, which is, think of it as your HTML, raw HTML, and which defines the structure and so on and so forth. And data.js JSON is actual data that goes into that HTML. So let's have a quick look at the adaptive cards. Nice website, so you can always go to adaptivecards.io and read about it. For our case, I would go to the designer, and they have few cards already available for us just to play around with. The benefit, because, and you know, as I already mentioned, one of the benefits of adaptive card is that they are rendered natively. The other benefit, personally, I think, of adaptive card is that they are streamlined. They streamline the process of UI creation within Microsoft world. Because think of a situation, because Outlook, Microsoft needs these UI snippets, and Outlook, they need it in Teams, they need it in n number of applications. So it was but obvious that they would try to make one standard and then use the same code base, you know, repeatedly every time. And that's what adaptive card is. You define your template, you define your data. So that's my template, that's my data, and you merge them, and boom, consistent user interface all across the Office 365 space. And it's pretty easy. So I hope the wider open source community will pick it up. Let's see if it is a big success like Visual Studio Code is with open source world. But personally, I kind of like it. So let's say if I have to incorporate this kind of a view in my dashboard, what do I need to do? Simple. I just choose Viva Connections over here. I copy the whole thing. Let's go to my dashboard, paste it here, not to forget the other part. Let's take this. Let me first remove this thing, copy, and we do a Control V, paste it over here. Everything all right? Yes. Let's republish, and if everything is right, on click of it, boom, I get my card, right? Pretty cool. So in the next session, we will see how to go about writing our own custom adaptive cards for Viva Connect, and do's and don'ts, and what restrictions are. But before I let you go, Matt Desinger, I actually thought it was a stock picture which Microsoft was using in their code base, you know, in their examples, but turns out he is an actual person, living person, and not generated by an AI. He's one of the person who has developed the adaptive cards. So shout out to Matt Desinger, great work, buddy, and I see you in the next session. Bye-bye. Enough of talk, let's see some code. I have a folder adaptive cards, and it's there that I would like to have the new project scaffolded by human generator. So I go there, I type yo at Microsoft SharePoint, yes. What's the solution name? Let's call it adaptive cards. I think I can just say SharePoint Online. Okay, let's yes for no, and for though, I would like to have adaptive cards, and then I get 3 basic template types. Now, what are these? Basic, image, and primary text. If I look at the card implementation in Viva Connect, which are these ones, right? Let's go ahead and edit it. By the way, if we want to edit the properties of these cards, we cannot do it from the home page. It has to be done from the page where the designer is located. So the easy way to go about it is just to go there, click on My Viva Connects, view the dashboard. I can't understand why Microsoft did not allow. Why do I need to add to one dashboard page and then this gets added as a web part to some other page over there? So I'm not quite clear on what that functionality is, use cases, but anyway, we go there. Let's go ahead and edit a page, edit a card, and you see we have three options over here: heading, image, and description. And these are the three parameters, and these three get mapped to one of these three entries. That's pretty much what is happening. The corollary over here is that you see the real estate and what you can do on the card view. Card view is the main view of the card, like we have over here. It's pretty much limited. It's not that you can do whatever you fancy, as we already discussed in the last video. So let's go ahead. I would like to create a basic card template. Let's call it messages, description, I don't care, and then let the npm I work around. Cool. The project is scaffolded. Multiple web paths in the same hit gulp, build again. So this is going to build my project for me. Let's do gulp search and see what has happened behind the scenes. So it should open up, if everything is right, it should open up my local workbench, not local workbench, Office 365 workbench, and I should be able to see my adaptive card over there. So it did open up something. Let's refresh it. And do I have my card over there? Sure do I. So messages. So this right now is coming from my code. I can edit it. So we'll talk about the properties in a minute and rest of the thing. One quick update: if I click on it, nothing happens. As you can see, it's not doing anything, and the reason for that is that by default the adaptive cards, they don't work in edit mode. So I need to hit preview to see my changes. So you see now it's redirecting me, and I think quick view is this. It's all out of box code. The next project, because of course we are not going to create a new SharePoint, a new Visual Studio project every time there is a small web part which we need to show. The idea is to club these web parts, especially the similar functionality web parts, into one group, right? What I tried initially was to copy paste the messages folder again and rename it to, let's say, people web part, which we will be creating, and then I was trying to mess up with config and lib to see where all the configuration I could change. Turns out that there is an easier solution to do that. All I need to do is just simply say yo at Microsoft. So I call the Yeoman template again, and all the scaffolding of loading it and all the configuration file will be taken care of for us automatically, which is pretty cool. Oh, sorry, it has to be, I could use adaptive card extensions. Last time it was basic card. This time let's use a people image card, and I would name it for no good reason people description, and then see how it's not creating the package JSON and everything again. It's just using the existing scenario, and then it will create the web part for me. Once this is done, then we will use the third template and create one more web part, and then see that all the information is showing correctly in our project code. Again, the same thing. Primary text, let's call it trip. Cool. Our web part is done. The scaffolding is done. So I have these three web parts. Just let's see if I'm still able to build it. I need to use node, the bash itself, not the JavaScript debug terminal, because that's throwing an error for some reason. Let's go do a gulp build. So far so good. And now, and we do a gulp serve. And now, if everything is all right, my workbench should open up. There it is. And if I refresh it, I should be able to add the rest of the web parts also. Let me go ahead, and that's the people web part. See how, because we use a different template, so it's showing it differently. And then we can also use the trip. 3 different flavors that are possible within Viva Connect module, the design, the dashboard of it. In the next video, we will go through the code of see what all we can do and how the whole plumbing thing works, how the whole application works, and how we can use state and some best practices associated with writing the code. See you in my next video. So guys, if you like the video, please hit like, share and subscribe. Your appreciation will go a long way in curbing my laziness. See you next time.